Oh, there you are, YouTube. Doodle 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 doo. Subscribe if you're interested, but also no pressure. Hey, so I am en route to trying to watch all of the Best Picture nominees for the Oscar of Best Picture. That's kind of redundant, what I just said there. Yeah, what I try to do, what I used to do was watch every movie nominated. And I'm talking even down to the shorts and the documentaries and such. But I don't have time for that anymore. So what I do now is I for sure watch all of the Best Picture nominees, and then after that, if I have enough time, I shoot for the acting nominees as well. So right now, I'm getting through the Best Picture nominees. Of course, I've seen some of them already because Barbenheimer was such a big deal. I watched those. I also have already watched Killers of the Flower Moon. I believe I reviewed all three of those. And then I recently watched another one, Maestro. And then yesterday, which is the film I'm going to talk about today, right now in this video, I watched Past Lives. And I thought it was a nice film. What I thought it was doing, it was doing some interesting things. I like, you almost want to say about regret, but I think it's more about like curiosity. So you have this boy and girl who are young kids, they're friends, and then this is like taking place in the past. But then the girl moves to the States, and the boy, he stays put in Korea, and they go on these different paths. But then, like, what is it, 12 years later, they find each other online and then sort of have a relationship online, like a friend relationship, but a very close friend relationship where they're like, you know, we got to catch up. We got to catch up with one another. But then, things are getting busy and they need to sort of take a break from one another so that they can pursue other things that they need to. This is more on Nora Moon, the girl's side, where she's like, you know what, I got stuff I need to take care of with like career and interests and things like that. So we should take a break from hanging out online all the time. So they do. And then 12 years later pass again, and things are very different in their lives. And they reconnect, this time in person. So they hadn't been in person since they were little kids. Because remember, the first 12 years that had passed, that was all online. So it was like an internet friendship. And then here they are hanging out in person, and all these thoughts are going through their head. Like, you were my very close friend when we were young, and then we had sort of like so much online chemistry 12 years ago, and here we are in person. But guess what? Nora Moon is married. He is not. So what this movie sort of turns into, in a way, obviously it's a little different than what I'm about to say, but what it kind of reminded me of was, so the guy is really into her and she is into him as well, but I feel like the scale is a little tipped a little bit, like he's into her more. But it sort of reminded me of their meeting when they were together physically, not in like a sexual manner. I just mean like they were meeting each other in person again. It made me think of Love Actually with Andrew Lincoln and Keira Knightley and Chiwetel, because she has this husband, and he's and then I wish I could remember everybody's names. I only remember Nora Moon. But the young friend, he comes to New York to visit her and meets her husband as well. And it just is, he's not friends with the husband, but he likes the husband upon meeting him. And it just sort of reminds me of Love Actually, where you have Andrew Lincoln finally, like, knowing, I can't do anything with this. I can't make this relationship happen, but I need to let her know that I like have feelings for her so that I can turn off my feelings, basically. Like, he just needs to spill his guts so that he can move on. And that's sort of what's going on here a little bit, where the spilling of the guts happen, and it's a little more both sided, not just Andrew Lincoln sort of thing. So imagine Keira Knightley kind of also had feelings for Andrew Lincoln, but she also loves Chiwetel so much that she's not going to ruin what she has with him, right? So that's what we're seeing, sort of that situation. So you're wondering, is she gonna leave her husband? Is she gonna stay with him? It's you're kind of wondering. So I'll let you watch the movie to find out. But it was all really interesting. It's not necessarily about regret, but they are asking questions of like, what would have happened had Nora not moved to the States? What would have happened had they not stopped talking online? Would they have been together? Would they have had kids? Would they have been together but then broken up later? Like, were they just maybe, is it meant to be this way? And then they get into some, I believe, like cultural questions of past lives, and maybe there are past lives and future lives of them where they are together, or they have already been together but this time they're not. And I thought all of that was really interesting. I did like the movie a lot. Do I think it's the best picture of the year? I don't think so, but if it won, I wouldn't be bothered by it, because I do like when these smaller films win like this, that are like small love stories. Like, one of my favorite Best Picture winners ever is Marty from 1955 with Ernest Borgnine. And it's a very small, tiny film that has, it's like it got some like romantic love story to it. And I just think it's great. He's a guy that thinks he can't find anybody. He thinks he's aged out of a relationship and he's got low self-esteem, but then he finds somebody who's sort of like his equal, in that she thinks she's not meant to be with anybody. And then with that, they find out they're meant to be with each other, and it's just a beautiful, small, little film. And I love that that sort of film can win Best Picture. And with Past Lives, if it were to win, which it's not going to, it feels like, to me, like I would be like, oh, that's cool that this movie was able to achieve that. Again, it's not going to, but I like that idea of that happening, because it is an enjoyable movie. Um, it's not one, where I'm watching it thinking, gosh, this was a bad choice for a nomination. I think it was a good choice for a nomination. Granted, I haven't seen a lot of movies. Would other movies take its place? Maybe. I don't know. My movie watching has slowed down, so there might be better films that should knock it out of the running, but I like that it is in the running. And if it were to win, I'd be cool with it. So, yeah, I don't know. It had me thinking about Love Actually, the Andrew Lincoln, Keira Knightley stuff. But again, it's very different still. But I really, that's kind of where my mind went. And I'm sure it went to other films too, but again, I watched it last night. Um, but I think it's worth checking out. And if you like smaller movies like that, sort of love stories, forbidden love, I don't know if that's really what it is, friendships, close friendships, that ask the question, what could we end up together? Would we make it if we were to be together, or should we stay apart? What should we do? I think those are interesting questions. I mean, I'm always thinking about my past. Had I made this decision, what would my life be like? Had I made this decision, what would my life be like? Like, I always regret not playing hockey in school. Like, I always think, like, what would my life be like had I played hockey in school? Maybe not different, but I'm just always curious. I didn't play. I wish I would have played. You know, maybe I'm not that big on football, but sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I played football. I don't really care about that one. That one doesn't feel like a regret, but I wonder. Like, not playing hockey sometimes is a regret of mine. Like, I should have just done it. I should have done it. Um, and I got other things like that. Small handful of regrets or questions of, had I done this, what path when my life had taken? Had I gone into entomology instead of art? If I would made that my focus, what would my life be like? Had I I don't know. I remember when I was in agriculture classes in high school, we had this guy that was like, um, he was like a diesel mechanic or something like that. And he's like, hey, come to my tech school and learn all about diesel engines, and you'll have a job right out of school. You won't be looking for a job. And I feel like I've been looking for a full time job for, what, 14 years or something. And, I think if I just would have become a diesel mechanic, I could be retired by now. I would have already been working for uh, 20 years, over 20 years. I don't know. These are the things that come to mind, and that's what this movie sort of brings up, and I think it does it in a sweet way, and I really like it. So, have you seen Past Lives? And if so, what do you think of it? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think it is Best Picture nomination worthy? Do you think it's Best Picture winner worthy? I'd love to know all of that. Let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.